What's up, everybody? This is Nick, and you're joining us once again for a Pull Up a Chair podcast in the 2019 Year of the Chair that has been proclaimed by many. And as always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host.
This is Eric.
And Eric, as always, we are bringing them, as we kind of talked last week, our hope is to always do 30-minute episodes. So once again, I'm starting the timer. After we get I'm setting it for 35 minutes, but after we get to 35 minutes, we are done.
Yeah.
And so that is where we will end the show. So here we go. Eric, today, a tragedy happened.
Yeah, what happened?
A man by the name of Luke Perry perished.
Mm-hmm. I saw that on my feed come across.
Yes, he had himself a stroke a couple days ago. Apparently didn't recover, and he passed away in the night, from what I understand.
Oh, okay. If I remember correctly, he was 52.
52. So let me just get the facts here. Perry had a massive stroke at his home in Sherman Oaks, Los Angeles on the 27th of February. He died from complications on March 4th. So he was trying, in recovery for quite a while. But yes, he was 52 years old. He had two children. They're older.
Adults?
Yeah, they're adults. One was born in 2000. The other one was born, I think, in 97 from what I read. But okay. I mean, it's still a tragedy.
It still sucks. I mean, they lost their dad.
But I wanted to remember a little bit about Mr. Perry. What do you remember about Mr. Perry?
What I remember about Luke Perry is his groundbreaking role on 90210. Was his character's named Dylan, or it's a real generic name? Do you remember?
Well, buddy, that is a great question. I never watched the 90210.
Me neither.
It's amazing that you were able to pull that out because his name was actually Dylan McKay.
Oh, I got it?
You got it right.
I think I've maybe seen one episode of 90210, and that is combining all the bits I've seen into one episode.
But you honestly had, I don't know, probably a 1 in 5 chance because back in the 90s, those shows seemed to rotate names.
Dylan,
I think every
Luke.
show had a Dylan and a Luke. Which I don't understand why he just didn't go with Luke. Why wouldn't he just the Luke of the show?
Yeah.
But so, you had a Dylan, you had a Luke, you had a...
Well, they were always the cool kid names, cool, air quotes, cool kid names.
Oh, yeah, the cool kids had the...
Well, what was another?
Steven.
No.
You had the Stevens.
The Even Stevens.
You had, let's see, what other...
Luke and Dylan.
Napoleon, Rick.
I'm trying to think of cool kid names from the 90s. Chase was
Chase was a cool kid.
I knew I had a Chase at school. This guy's a bully, and he bullied just like me.
He bullied
me.
I thought you were saying he took after you in the
just
bullying.
Like me, yeah.
He took lessons from me. I taught him.
He stole my bully swag.
Yeah.
No, he bullied me. It's the only time I remember actually being bullied at school was by this one kid named Chase. He eventually left school to go to a different school, and I saw him years later at a track meet. He wasn't there to run because he was fat, and I was happy to see that. I was, of course, slim and trim. I was just out there supporting the track team, and I see him over there talking. I'm like, oh, someone's like, hey, that's Chase. I'm like, Chase who? Well, like, Chase, I know his last name, but I'm not going to say it. And
because someone around that listens to our show might know him.
Hey.
And you might find Chase on your doorstep one day.
You never know.
You know what, Chase? Eric will fight you. He will fight you in the streets. He will fight. Yeah, it has been a long time.
You didn't do it. You didn't do it last week in the last episode. I was like, oh, he didn't do the fight thing. I don't think you did it.
No, I didn't bring it up. But Eric, it's gotta fit, man.
It's natural.
It's it's one of our favorite, bits. We got to bring it up. But, if we are a nostalgia podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to have a Perry cast.
Perry cast,
And
yeah.
even though you and I both don't know much about.
What you came up a name with this style of show. What was that? I can't remember it.
This is when we don't know much about the character, we call it a stumble cast.
Stumble cast,
because we stumble our way through.
I know so little about him and his career that the standard rule is that I'm just coming up with on the spot is Nick gets to see everything and I have to guess it, or either guess it or I'm going to act like I know what I'm talking about, I guess, or he'll say something. I'll go, oh yeah, I remember that. So that's the.
Yes, this is the way it's going to go. We one of us looks up the information and knows a little bit about what's going on, very little, and the other one has to try to realize. However, Eric, you would be shocked with how much Mr. Perry actually intersected with your childhood.
What's interesting, yeah, you came in and you mentioned he died, and I'd seen the headline, and I go, has he even been on anything? And you said, well, he was on.
Well, yeah, he was. You said recently, has he been on anything? And I said, yeah, he was apparently, and I didn't know this, but he's apparently been starring on that Riverdale show.
Yeah,
so if anybody watches Riverdale, they know that. And
His character wasn't too important.
Well, I mean, he just blended in with the other kids on that show.
He was like the old guy that used to be cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, for 52, I don't think he looked much different from when, except for a little gray.
He's more gray, but yeah, that guy looked pretty handsome.
Yeah, I mean, he held up well up until he didn't. But
up until that stopped.
Yeah, up until that thing happened. But let's see, he was actually he started off, appeared in a music video called "Be Cruel to Your School." For the band Twisted Sisters, along on, for Alice Cooper there.
Okay.
But then he was on 90210. He appeared in a couple episodes for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I remember that.
Which is a show
I liked Buffy and Angel. I'm not crazy about it though, like some people. Something
I forgot, but I have seen the movie, and it's actually a pretty good movie. But he starred as Lane Frost in the movie 8 Seconds.
The Eminem movie?
No, that's
8 Mile.
8 Mile.
Oh yeah, the bull riding movie.
He's the bull rider.
That's right, bull riding movie.
It wasn't a bad movie. It was a little.
It was a big deal in my town because we had bull riders.
Yeah,
and they loved it.
Well, and of course, I may be wrong, but one of the characters in that. No, I think I'm right. But one of the characters in that movie was from Oklahoma, so that was kind of a big deal for our area. Let's see. Yeah, Mr. Frost, actually, who he played, has passed away, and his resting place is Hugo, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I mean, he was, I think he resided here or something. I don't remember. I do remember, let's see, Frost taught the art of riding, and his good friend, Freckles Brown. Oh, man, I love these names. Who was the world champion in Oklahoma? He has the national high school bull riding champion in 1981. He was the bull riding champion of the first youth nationals in Fort Worth. So, Lane Frost was from Oklahoma, if I remember correctly. So, anyway, moving on. He was in The Fifth Element. I
like The Fifth Element. I'm trying to think. Oh, he's the assistant?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe that was his role. We can look that up. We can look that up to verify that here a little bit later.
I'll look that one up.
He played the Reverend Jeremiah Cloutier in the show Oz, which is a show I never watched.
I never watched Oz. That's the prison show, right?
Yes. But I could keep going down the list here, but let's get to something that more interests me.
Okay.
He did some voice acting. He voiced himself on The Simpsons, where he played Krusty's half-brother.
Okay.
And he also voiced himself on an episode of Johnny Bravo.
Oh, okay. I was never a huge fan of Johnny Bravo.
Did you never watch Johnny
No,
Bravo?
I watched it, but it wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
It usually came on in the block of shows I liked. It was always in there, but not mine.
I enjoyed the Johnny Bravo.
Oh yeah.
It was a pretty funny show. But then we get into some of his other titles here. Well, I should also mention he was in a few episodes which you remember apparently of Will and Grace.
Yeah, I mean, I remember him being on there. I don't remember his character though.
Well,
I think he was dating the redheaded lady.
Carter Haywood.
Maybe.
Well, apparently he appeared as Carter Haywood's ex-boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Who
Guess not.
subsequently fell in love with a woman on Spin City. I don't know.
Was that crossover? I guess that's in the same universe.
Yes, I guess it's all one big happy family.
Okay. Sure.
I don't know. I guess they're all... He guest starred as gay characters in the sitcom Spin City, and so I guess little known fact. Hey, this just in: Will and Grace and Spin City, same show,
Same universe.
same area. All right, so he did some voice acting here, though. He did the Incredible Hulk,
For which one?
the old one, my friend. He voiced none other than Rick Jones. We're talking the 1996-97. This was actually I don't know. I watched a couple episodes. It was a pretty good.
You said 96?
96-97. Our good friend, the Incredible Hulk. This was one of those that was part of that, like, not that one.
I don't know. I'm trying to find it. I put 97.
But I mean, this was one that was part of that, like when they had the Spider-Man and they had kind of a connected universe going with Spider-Man and
Okay.
Go down for a second.
Sure.
I wanted to see what Lou Ferrigno, he voiced the Hulk.
Okay. On
And
all
then-
episodes.
Yeah. And so Luke Perry did Rick Jones for 10 episodes. But I mean, this was there for a while. Marvel had kind of a connected cartoon universe.
I remember this 96, 97. This is all Saturday morning.
Yes.
I would have not seen it. I was in soccer constantly during that time.
Did you? Well, I didn't get to see it as much, but I got to catch up on it a little bit.
Oh, really?
Later on, like they showed repeats on Boomerang and things like that. When I had cable, I had a lot of free time when I was a pastor. But I don't know. I mean, it was Kathy Ireland voiced Ogress on this show. I didn't realize that. Eric's got up a list of people that voiced characters. The Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, Kathy Ireland, now fashion designer, apparently.
Ogress?
Yeah, she voiced some character named Ogress. But, I mean, they kind of had this... It was kind of neat. They had it was the first MCU, the Marvel cartoon universe.
Okay.
But they had a Spider-Man show, and sometimes Hulk would appear on it. And so, I remember that character now.
Ogress. Okay, so I pulled up. I didn't know who Ogress was.
I don't either, but I remember the character from the show.
Okay.
She's
gross.
Yeah.
Is this her other form? Where she's hot?
No, I think that's actually She-Hulk.
Oh, that's She-Hulk.
Ogress,
Just straight up.
I don't remember anything about who she is. I just remember, how can you forget a face like that?
I don't have a clue. Goodness gracious.
She looks like something out of Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Or no, do you remember, was it Swamp Thing and the Toxic Avengers? Or
What about like what?
there was a cartoon that was like, we've got to talk about some of the random cartoons.
There was the Toxic Avenger. Yeah, I remember that cartoon.
You remember that Toxic Avenger cartoon? Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. I want to say it came out during the. once Captain Planet kind of got big.
Yes. I want to say...
Could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it was 1990 to May 20th, 1991. So, I mean, it only lasted one episode, probably, 13 episodes? That's what it says. I mean, that's what she looks like. She looks like something probably off that show. But was it a Deke? It may have been a Deke. Our good friend...
Is it Deke Entertainment?
No, wait a second. Original network was... Production company was Murakami Wolf Winson Trauma Entertainment. Oh, they were... This was a Trauma Entertainment show. Good old Trauma.
Trauma Entertainment. I have to look them up.
Oh yeah, Trauma has a lot of B movies. You'll have to look them up at some point. TROMA. If anybody else that's listening wants to look that up. I've only found out about them from other podcasts. Like, how did this get made?
Oh, really?
I found out about them through that. But anyway, so he voiced, which, I mean, Rick Jones is a big character, but he also voiced none other than a little show I watched a little bit of called Biker Mice from Mars.
Biker Mice from Mars. Now, can you describe the premise of this show? I can't really get it from the name. So what's happening in this show?
Well, Eric, I would call it, if I was just to, use some wording that just comes to mind, I would call it a science fiction action animated series. It follows 3 anthropomorphic mice motorcyclists named Throttle, Moto, and Vinny, who escape a war on their home planet Mars before arriving to defend the Earth from the evil that destroyed their homeland, the Plutarchians.
Now,
Plutarchians attacking because they're upset that they're no longer a planet.
Yes,
and so they saw it
coming.
It's our science's own petard that
we're being hoisted by.
Yeah, that we're being hoisted by. That's why they're attacking us.
Hold on. So before we started this show, we kind of looked it up, and it seems like their entire race was wiped out, except for these 3 mice.
Yes,
the entire it was a genocide. They destroyed every other mouse on that planet other than these 3.
Yes,
and they're in good attitudes for going through a genocide.
Well, yeah, I mean they are very, very happy. But now let me point something out. This show very much mimicked another show that I was a fan of, and I always thought it was just a ripoff of.
What's that?
None other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Well, I mean that's a bit broad. Anthropomorphic animals that fight. I mean, that's not just we have this
Battletoads,
jet cats,
something
like that.
Yeah. Buddy, there were a ton of these.
Some dog one, I'm assuming.
Here's my question: if a whole planet of biker mice could not fight off these Plutarchians, what do 3 of them have to? How do we trust 3 of them
to defend Earth,
to defend us? This is the question.
That's a good question.
No one ever asked this question.
I see how there's a lot of plot holes in
I mean,
storyline development that needs to happen for this Mars mouse show to really settle in.
Now, something I didn't know is that Stan Lee was an executive producer of this show.
Which means they used his name to get funding, and he did nothing.
Excelsior,
yeah.
That sounded just like it's almost like he was in the room.
I remember
Greetings, true believers. Terrible impersonation. By the way, there's another man who passed. We should probably talk about him at some point. His legacy.
Man, 30 minutes is a bit rushed to go through his legacy.
But Good old, getting back to Luke Perry. He voiced a character by the name of Napoleon Bree.
What's that off of?
This is off of Biker Mice from Mars.
Oh, he was a guest
Oh, he was a guest voice. Yes.
guest voice on the show. Okay.
But I mean, this show has a lot of names that you and I are familiar with. You know, big fans of the show, friends as we call them. You know, you had he had his friend Brian Austin Green on there.
Oh, really?
Who was also another name from 90210.
Yep.
He
I don't remember
let's
his
see,
name, though.
Leah Remini. Who was the wife on Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yes.
No, wait.
No.
On
the guy that
King of Queens.
King of Queens, USP truck.
Yeah, I mean, those
truck driver.
There for a while, they were pretty much interchangeable for me.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Clancy Brown showing up on the show. I mean, this was a pretty big show, apparently. I mean, I didn't ever get into it, but Eric, you never watched this show, did you?
Which one?
Biker Mice.
Once we looked at the artwork of it, I recognized it, but I would have not watched it. It's not something I could have really. What was it? 2 seasons?
It was actually 65 episodes. So,
oh, full run?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's like that could still be 1 season.
And then I've got to look this up later. 2006. It had a revival. It came back, I guess, in a 2006 series. So, which it ran from 2006 to 2007. So, apparently, outcry for the loss of Biker Mice from Mars was so
overwhelming,
so great.
Oh yes, were you part of that? Did you lead that?
I led the letter writing campaign to get Biker Mice from Mars reinstated into the canon of Biker Mice from Mars.
Into its own canon?
Yeah. I said,
like
Biker
that.
Mice from Mars needs to be within its own canon. Because it was trying to bleed into other canons, and I said, no, it needs its own.
It has its own canon. The Plutarchians, they're solely in this world,
like
universe.
This is, and 2006, I believe, was when Pluto was declared not a planet, so it became relevant again.
Oh yeah, that could be why. Yeah, so
I need to look that up. Don't look that up.
Biker Mice from Mars. So the Biker Mice BMMU, the BMMU,
The BMMU, yes, the continuity, the bowel movement.
I don't know. You can come up with that one.
You can finish that one for us. But Eric, is there anything else you know about Mr. Luke Perry?
No, I don't know anything. I didn't watch any of his stuff. Wasn't he in a bunch of Hallmark movies or something like that? Didn't he have a string of those at one point in time where he kind of did the circuit of Hallmark or made for TV movie kind of, or made for?
I'm guessing.
TV
so
movies.
let me go down the list here of television movies that he.
Does it have a specific list for television movies?
Well, it just has television film.
Okay.
Next to it, so he was in in 1997 a television film segment called Empty for a movie called Riot. Then he was in Invasion, Night of the Headless Horseman.
Okay.
The Triangle.
Nope. Never heard of it.
Decent. Supernova.
Nope.
A Gunfighter's Pledge. A Very Merry Daughter of the Bride. Angel and the Bad Man. Good Night for Justice. Good Night for Justice. The Measure of a Man. Oh, Good Night. Oh man, Good Night for Justice. John Goodnight got 3 movies.
John Goodnight.
John Goodnight is a single man who needs to. So basically, John Goodnight. Let's see. Good Night for Justice in 2011. Good Night for Justice, The Measure of a Man, 2012, and was immediately followed with Good Night for Justice, Queen of Hearts.
Good night. I'm where? Let's see here. Good Night for Justice. What is this?
Buddy, this is probably some of the greatest movies you'll ever. It was a Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I thought he had done a
go
bunch
to the Rotten Tomatoes for this.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I want to see what
This is Good Night for Justice, The Measure of a Man.
It got a 33% by the audience.
Yeah, no, what are they called? The critics were silent on this film.
Go to just Good Night for Justice and see what we get for. Just type in Good Night for Justice. Take out the measure of a man, and look for just him. Let's see what. Oh, not found. No,
I'll find it.
This was the movie that spawned the trilogy. We should be getting a result here for
There it is.
2011 Good Night for Justice. What do we get?
Oh, got a 63.
It got a 63.
See,
okay.
that picture I've seen before. This one right here.
So he's a cowboy in the Old West. I see.
This sounds like we should probably get Ryan on this.
Yeah, we'll do a Good Night. I'm sure we can find the trilogy somewhere. Probably pretty easily.
Good Night for Justice. A circuit judge of the Western Territory seeks vengeance against the outlaws who killed his family in its tense Western drama, starring Luke Perry. Well, as a child, John Goodnight watched helpless as bandits killed his parents in cold blood. Years later, Goodnight, Luke Perry, has become a circuit judge. His lifelong mission brings justice to the Western Territories, and ensure the leader of the outlaw gang pays for his crimes. Upon getting his target in his sights, however, Goodnight finds his powerful thirst for vengeance overpowering his enduring quest for justice. So that's the premise of this.
And if you're looking for something to curl up to after listening to our podcast,
Good Night for Justice,
you can probably find Good Night for Justice somewhere to watch it, probably on YouTube.
It's on Amazon.
Oh, probably on Amazon, and you can get it to watch. Good Night for Justice. It'll keep you up at night.
Good Night Justice.
If you want a good night,
guys, go to our Amazon affiliated link. I'm just kidding. DVDs $6.59.
Wow.
Prime. Blu-ray. Yes, guys, you can get this on Blu-ray.
How much to just own it? Like own it digitally? Blu-ray? Like so you can see every.
I'm sure it's upscaled. I don't know what it was. I doubt it was shot in.
Every Luke Perry moment in.
Yeah, I wonder what it was shot in. I wonder if it's Blu-ray, but it might
You'll
not
be able to see
like
the gray in
high-res.
his beard.
The gray of every hair.
That you didn't think was possible.
Yeah, you cannot stream this movie. At least not here. You can probably get it. Didn't Hallmark have a station? Didn't Hallmark have a streaming service now?
I'm sure they do. Hallmark, every station's got a streaming service. Whatever happened to the good old days when you just turned on the television and watched whatever was on?
I make my kids watch TV sometimes, and they hate it.
Make them watch it?
Yeah, I make them watch actual TV. I'm like, watch, because I don't have cable or nothing. So I'm like, watch TV. Can we watch Hulu or whatever? Like, no, watch TV.
What do you make them watch?
It's usually Saturdays.
You know what you should get? You should get the trifecta of Good Night for Justice.
Oh, I should.
And you know what?
And indoctrinate them into the Good Night for Justice franchise.
We're going to call it the Perryverse.
Perryverse.
It's time to bring if Spin City and you know.
What is the name of that series? We just talked about it.
Not Will and Grace.
Will and Grace, yeah.
We're in the same universe. It's time to somehow connect every Luke Perry property together, Eric.
Yeah, why not?
So I'm going to give you a name of 2 properties.
Is this like Kevin Bacon? I got to figure out how they connect.
Yo, you got to make up the story of how these worlds are all connected.
How these worlds collide. Oh, let's see what I can do.
Okay, and then in 19 this is a new game that I just came up with that you get to be a part of here, Eric.
So I'm excited. Man, Hallmark really loves... Oh, this is their signature mysteries.
Their signature mysteries seems to be the cast of Full House. Because isn't that Aunt Becky on the right? And then...
Yeah, and that's... what's her name?
Yeah.
DJ?
Yeah.
And I don't know these guys. Yeah. Chronicle Mysteries. Morning Show Mysteries.
Aurora Tea Garden Mysteries.
And the Garden Cell Mysteries?
You know what? They'll never be Murder, She Wrote. That's
Did you watch Murder, She Wrote?
Buddy,
Or Columbo?
I watched Columbo. I didn't watch much Murder, She Wrote, but that's what they're all trying to be.
His lazy eye always got me.
Oh, no. His lazy eye was great.
That's how I caught you.
Yeah,
He could always see you coming.
He could stare into your soul and you knew you were caught. He's like, I don't know.
It was a lazy eye or glass eye? It was a lazy eye.
It's lazy eye.
A lazy eye, okay.
He's like, no, something's just bothering me. He'd do that thing where he touches his temple.
Yeah.
Like, something's just bothering me. If Luke Perry was in, hang on.
Oh, okay.
Was in Biker Mice from Mars, how does that relate to Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, where he voiced Sub-Zero? How are they in the same universe, Eric? Go.
Well, it goes back to the Plutarchians. Mortal Kombat. What's the name of that guy with 4 arms?
Goro.
Goro.
Finish him.
So Goro
Mortal Kombat
is from Uranus.
Yes.
And the Plutarchians are from Pluto.
Uh-huh.
There was a vicious war.
Okay.
The Plutarchians destroyed his race.
Oh.
He was the last of his kind, much like the Biker Mice from Mars.
Okay.
So that's the derivative, is the Plutarchians.
All right, but how does that feed into his Another World character, which is...
Another World?
Buddy,
the soap opera?
No. Yes, the soap opera, sorry.
Goro's wife was an extra.
She would watch episodes of Another World.
From Another World.
From Another World.
Before the Plutarchians killed her.
Uh-huh.
And so that's, I mean...
You're bringing it together, my friend.
It's all coming together.
John from Cincinnati, where he...
John from Cincinnati? Is this a TV show?
Yes, 10 episodes. He was in John from Cincinnati in 2007, where he played Link Stark.
Okay.
Is an American television drama set against the surfing community of Imperial Beach, California, that aired on HBO.
Link Stark is obviously a nephew of Tony Stark.
Uh-huh, gotcha.
Distant nephew.
Coming together.
Tony Stark has a good friend, the Hulk.
The Hulk. Who has a good friend.
Well, I mean,
Rick Hones.
He fought on Battle Planet for Hulk.
That's true. I'm with you. Okay.
Who, before Hulk got there, Goro was the defending champion.
Oh, okay. Now, bring that back to Generator Rex, where he...
Oh, gosh. Generator Rex. I heard that one for a long time.
He voiced Jacob. Actually, I enjoyed the show Generator Rex. I thought about that show just recently.
Why?
I don't know.
It was like, I really needed... How long was Generator Rex on?
It was on for like 3 or 4 seasons, I thought.
What I remember about Generator Rex, it looked really cool, and I never had to watch it. I was like, that looks really neat.
But I mean, it was way back in 2010.
I know. I know. I mean, I had kids, and this is...
I like how I said that. Way back in 2000. 2-aught, 1-aught.
2-aught, 1-aught. I like that. Not 2-aught, 1-9er.
No. In 2-aught, 1-aught, he voiced that character. So how does that come back to Generator Rex and make that go back to Good Night?
Good Night. I don't know any of the characters from this show. Let's see here.
All right, so
how about you tell me that one? That's beyond. Hold on.
Okay. It's gonna have to involve time travel.
Oh, you're making it so hard.
Which brings us to Endgame. Okay, hang on. We've just broken over the whole... Okay,
so they're part of the MCU.
Yeah, so here we go. You already brought in...
Oh, I did.
You brought in Tony Stark and Incredible Hulk, Rick Jones. So now all of a sudden we have this guy from Generator Rex, Jacob. He needs to go back in time to make things right because the snap Thanos did... It caused Generator Rex to disappear. So he's got to go back and help that. But he gets lost and he ends up with Goodnight Justice. And he ends up bringing Goodnight Justice to the future. And they stop Thanos single-handedly without any Avengers. And that's what's going to happen in Endgame.
Generator Rex comes in.
Eric, we've run out of time.
Have we?
The timer has 1 minute left.
Wow, we're doing
good. So
why
don't you tell them where they can find us?
Well, you can find us all over the internet and on every podcast podcasting app. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook. What else? Any of the other sites? Just search for Pull Up a Chair Podcast. Our Twitter is at Pull Up a Chair Pod. We do watch those and monitor them. So if you contact us, we will contact you back. You can find us on our own website, puckpodcast.website, pucpodcast.website. Why website? Because. And what else do we have?
Well, we have Perry.Luke
Spirit.Luke
at Garfunkel, Generator Rex, voice. Anyway,
Garfunkel.
And I think you've covered everything.
Yeah, I think it's about everything. And so you can find us on every podcasting app if you're not listening to us on a podcasting app somehow. Just go find us. We talk. If you can remember anything about Generator Rex, let us know.
And Eric, they can find us in every zip code. You know what other zip code they can find us in?
What's that?
90210.
Oh, there you go. You can find us in that one.
In all seriousness, it's always sad when somebody moves on. Somebody.
I know, he was young.
Yeah, he was. Especially, with having kids, and apparently he was a pretty good guy. He did a lot of stuff for people and was just a real help for people. So he's a good dude. But he has moved on to another zip code that is not of this earth anymore. So we wish you well, Mr. Perry, and we hope you have a great day.
Bye. Excelsior.